All right. So we're entering into week 25. As of August 13th, 2022, it is now the home stretch to Decision Day. Decision Day is less than 2 months away now. Decision Day is on October 9th. So we are less than 2 months away from Decision Day. We just got off the All-Star break, and now it's all about the playoff push. This is the time where the true contenders will separate themselves from the pretenders. This is it right here. There's only one team left that's playing in the U.S. Open Cup. So the U.S. Open Cup is pretty much over. CCL, over. Leagues Cup Showcase, that's over. All the major tournaments are basically over. So at this point in time, it's all about that final playoff push. And the race is tight. The race is close. The good thing about the MLS point system, or just the soccer point system in general, teams don't lose points. The way I do it, teams are deducted 2 points in the standings for losing. But in the regular, traditional football point system, teams do not lose points for losing. As a result of that, there's a lot of teams that still have a chance to make the playoffs, like New England, Miami, LA Galaxy, Colorado. But this is it right here. And starting this week, I'm going to be looking for the teams that truly desire to separate themselves from the crowd. Because right now, it's still pretty crowded, especially at the bottom. Between seeds 6 through 10, it is still crowded. LAFC and Austin and Philly and NYCFC, like those 4 teams have been the most consistent throughout this season. New York Red Bulls, they had their run, but they've been on a little slide. I don't know what has happened to them ever since that U.S. Open Cup loss to Orlando. They just haven't been the same. Maybe they used the All-Star break, the little brief break that we had during the All-Star break, to get their minds right and to get themselves recharged. That's what the good teams did during this break. During this break, the teams that are truly serious about making the playoffs, they use this time for really just to like mental resurrection for themselves. So looking at these standings, like all these teams right here, like this Saturday, things can change. If Chicago beats Philly, and if Chicago beats Philly and Cincy either loses or basically if Cincy loses, then both of them will have 33 points. Orlando can get 33 points. Miami can get 33 points. New England can get 33 points. So that bottom half of the East is tough. And even though Cincy and Chicago are above the playoff line in the East, and Portland and Nashville are above the playoff line, I still got them in red because those last 2 spots, you're not safe. Just because you're above the playoff line, you're still not safe in that 6 and 7 seed. The real safest spots that you can really beat is a top 4 seed. Even the 5th seed, you're still on thin ice. But that 6 and 7 seed, you're in a vulnerable position. And speaking of Chicago, The game that I'm looking forward to the most this week is the Chicago-Philly rematch. Now, these are two teams that I would love to see become future rivals in the MLS. The MLS really needs both of these teams to perform well. Why? Both of these teams are not only in big media markets, but both of these cities are diehard sports cities. So it'll be good for the MLS if both of these teams perform well. Now, Philly, they have been trying in recent years, but Philly just haven't been able to get over the hump. Maybe this year is the year that they get over the hump. But this game right here, both of them got to set the tone. If you're Philadelphia, you're looking for revenge from that previous match earlier this season, when Chicago put that tough defense on you and you were not able to score at all. Like, you were out physical by Chicago. And that was at a point in the season where Chicago was really struggling. This was before Chicago bounced back, because Chicago has been a team that's been a roller coaster. They started off the season pretty well with tough defense. Then they had a little slump. And then recently they've been playing better. Philadelphia, during this home stretch, you gotta set the tone. Like, if you want people to truly respect you, you have to play lights out. You have to continue to dominate and shut out teams even more now. You're doing so throughout the season. You have consistently done so through most parts of the season. However, Philly, there are times where you kind of let loose a little bit and you show your vulnerable side at times. There are times where you're not really aggressive. And because of that, because of your inconsistency, Philly, teams are not afraid of you. Teams do not view you as a top dog like they view a NYC FC or LA Galaxy or Seattle. During this home stretch, Philly, you want to make your mark. You want to let people know that you are the toughest team in the East, and that if anybody wants to have a chance of winning any MLS championship in the East, that they'll have to go through you. And it starts this Saturday, Philly. You got to set the tone. You got to let this Chicago team know that if you're trying to make the playoffs, you currently be in the 7th seed, you're not going to get a point against us. We're definitely not going to allow you to get 3 points. We're not even going to allow you to get 1 point. You're going to have to earn that point going against somebody else. Because we're the top dogs in the East. And then if you're Chicago, well, you got to be like, oh yeah? But guess what, Philly? That same team that beat you back in June, we're 10 times better than that team that beat you back in June. Like, that team that you saw back in June, that was just practice. That was just warm up. This new Chicago Fire team, that here in August, we are tougher, we are stronger, and we have better chemistry on offense. Listen, I like John Duran, and I really like his potential. But moving forward, I believe that he is not ready to be a starter in the MLS. He still has some growing up to do. He still has some maturing to do. I think John Duran will be best if he comes off the bench, like in the 60th minute or the 70th minute, to give the Fire some boost because there are going to be some times where their offense is struggling. So he can be that guy that comes off the bench to give them some boost late in the game. I like the chemistry that Shaqiri has with number 11. I can't pronounce his name right. That's why I'm calling him number 11. But Chicago Fire fans, you know who I'm talking about. So this Chicago-Philly game, this is something I'm really looking forward to. Two big markets, two big sports towns going head to head. And both of them are in playoff position this year. Last year wasn't like that. Chicago wasn't a playoff contender last year. They were at the bottom this time last year. But now it's different. And this is what the MLS needs. Because the MLS is not popular, because American soccer, American traditional football is not popular, you need the teams in your major markets to perform well. And every year, the teams that's in the big media markets, they need to be in playoff contention every single year. Now in the West, Seattle and LA Galaxy are at the bottom. They're not in playoff. If the playoff starts today, they wouldn't be in. And this looks kind of odd. Because when was the last time that both Seattle and the LA Galaxy missed the playoffs? Has this ever happened in the history of the MLS? Where both the Seattle Sounders and the LA Galaxy missed the playoffs at the same time? For those of you who've been watching MLS since the early 2000s, please let me know in the comment section, has this ever happened? Because these two teams are the face of the MLS. And both of them are in danger of missing the playoffs. This goes to show us the benefit of the MLS not having a pro rel. The fact that teams can be competitive and teams have enough time to gradually grow over time. That teams are not heavily pressured to overspend and make irrational decisions out of fear of being relegated. You see, if a pro rel would have existed, we wouldn't be seeing LAFC right now. We wouldn't see Austin. We wouldn't see Dallas. We wouldn't see LA Galaxy. Why? Because all of those teams missed the playoffs last year. Therefore, in a pro rel, this year they would have been relegated. So, I'm not going to get too much into, I've talked enough about the benefits of the league not having a pro rel. But if you're Seattle and LA Galaxy, starting with you first, Seattle, it looks like there will not be a FIFA Club World Cup next year. Because I guess UEFA is still having their little temper tantrum. They're still upset that the Middle East was awarded the World Cup and it messes with their schedule. UEFA, they believe that the soccer world should revolve around them, that everybody's schedule should accommodate theirs. And the way that football operates in this world, that every league should be considerate to them regardless. So, because things are not going their way, they don't want to accommodate for other events. So we don't know, because if Real Madrid is not scheduled to participate in the FIFA Club World Cup, and if UEFA, if they don't have the FIFA Club World Cup date to participate in, they're not going to participate in it, and you can't have a FIFA Club World Cup without UEFA. That's just the reality. So as a result of that, Sounders, I don't know when you'll play in this FIFA Club World Cup, but it's looking like it's not going to be in 2023. As a result of this, Sounders, it looks like you have to refocus on keeping your playoff streak alive. There's still a chance that you can keep your streak of being a top 5 seed. There's a possibility, but just you, since your existence in the MLS, you have never missed the playoffs, and I'm sure you don't want that to end this season. So, you just got to find some way to get it together. But at the end of the day, you have already won a reward. You're already the Continental Champion. So you already won something. So even if you miss the playoffs, Sounders, you're still the champion. You're still the Continental Champion. You still won something. As for LA Galaxy, I don't know what's going on with you. Because remember in the offseason, LA Galaxy, and those of you who have been following me since January, when LAFC was making all these offseason moves, acquiring Kellen Acosta and Max Crepeau and Ryan Hollister, we're seeing LAFC making all these offseason moves. And then I was like, the LA Galaxy, what about you? What are you doing? It looking like that state of being stagnant is coming back to haunt you, LA Galaxy. Because for the second straight year, you're on the verge of missing the playoffs again. And it's looking like for the second straight year that you're going to need a win or a draw on decision day to get in the playoffs. So you're putting yourself in the same situation for the second straight year of being borderline in or borderline out of the playoffs, LA Galaxy. You're allowing your fans to endure stress again. You're allowing your fans to worry again for the second straight year because of your state of being stagnant during the offseason. Now, this recent move, acquiring the Barcelona player, Puig, we'll see. We'll see if he's going to give you that boost, similar to how Cucho Hernandez has given Columbus a boost. Similar to how Chiellini and Gareth Bale has given LAFC a boost. We'll see. But I just don't understand, LA Galaxy, why you were so stagnant watching as LAFC was making so many big moves. And you were just stagnant. LA Galaxy, I know you have been the face of the MLS, you along with the Sounders, ever since like the existence of the MLS. But you're in danger of losing the city of Los Angeles to LAFC if you haven't lost them already. Because there's a certain element in sports entertainment that I haven't touched on, that I might have to do another monologue on. But Hollywood has gotten involved in the business operations of the MLS. And whenever Hollywood gets involved, things changes. It's not by coincidence that the LA Rams won the Super Bowl the same year where the city of Los Angeles hosted the Super Bowl, and the same year where the halftime show of the Super Bowl featured all LA rappers. It's not by coincidence. When Hollywood gets involved, the game changes. And we're seeing that right now with LAFC. This is why, LA Galaxy, you could not have afforded to be so stagnant like the way you were in the offseason. And now look at the standings now. Like LAFC, they look untouchable. They look unstoppable. Look at what's going on with USC with college football. the hiring of Lincoln Riley, the move to the Big Ten. When Hollywood says enough, when Hollywood gets involved, the game changes. And we are witnessing that right now in the MLS with LAFC. So this week 25, this is the home stretch. This is the third final half of the MLS regular season. We are less than 2 months away from decision day. As a matter of fact, we are 58 days away from decision day. This week, in week 25, I want to see the real contenders make a statement and start to make an effort to separate themselves from the pretenders. This is the week, this is the time where the grown men start to separate themselves from the boys.